Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They continue to rule very well. Shalom to the Hope elect that is also pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in all faith, true sincerity, and giving all diligence. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled The Woman with 12 Stars. And this is based off the scriptures in Revelation chapter 12, starting at verse 1, where it speaks about the woman, right, with the 12 stars, right, specifically crown of 12 stars, should I say. This is a major cut to the doctrine, and is they teach in the Roman Catholic Church concerning the scripture in Revelation 12, where it speaks about this woman, and they basically say that this woman is talking about Mary, which is the mother of whom the word inwardly called Jesus, and which his real name is Yahweh Shai. All right, and this is just another form of the Queen of Heaven worship, in which the Roman Catholic Church perpetuates. And see, this scripture in Revelation chapter 12 is not talking about Mary, man. All right, like I said before, this is just this is just another doctrine that they push forth, and which really this is a cunningly devised fable that they made up, going all the way back to the time of the Roman Catholic era. After the fall of the pagan Roman Empire, then came the Holy Roman Empire, or the so-called Holy Roman Empire, which really wasn't even all that holy. All right, if you really go down, break down, what they were doing, because really they were mixing in pagan origins into the church. Okay, and now just to get started, I'm gonna get the book of Revelation chapter 12, start at verse 1. It says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." All right. Now, like I said before, this isn't talking about Mary, man. All right. This woman that's talking about is talking about Israel, the nation of Israel. Okay, because there's a scripture, and if I can grab it real quick, there's a scripture in the book of Jeremiah. Let's see, should be chapter 9. See, I can go all the way down. Let's see. Bear with me for 1 second while I get this. But let me go ahead and do a word search. But like I said before, man, there's this woman that's speaking about in Revelation chapter 12 is talking about Israel, because the Lord looks at the nation of Israel as a woman. Okay, and the scripture was in Jeremiah chapter 6. Salakia. I went and got chapter 9. It's Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. It says, "I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." All right, so the scripture right here is letting you know that the Lord, which the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and the Son's name Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, looks at the nation of Israel, which the daughter of Zion represents the nation of Israel. He says, "I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." All right, because when you go into the book of not Jonah, but if you go into the book of Hosea, and especially in some chapters in the book of Jeremiah, it speaks about Israel and Judah being women. All right, speaking about how Israel has done wickedness against Yahweh Shemi Shai, and then it goes on to speak about the other woman, which is Judah, saying basically explaining that Judah has done the same thing, because remember, Israel has been split into two kingdoms, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, in which when it speaks about Judah, it speaks about the southern kingdom, and when it speaks about Israel, it's talking about the northern kingdom. All right. And so let's go back to Revelation chapter 12. And also there's another scripture. I don't remember exactly where it is, but I know when it speaks about Joseph. Let's see. It should be... Alright, here it is. Now it's the book of Genesis chapter 37. And let me start at verse 8. It says, and his brethren said to him, talking about Joseph, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Alright. Now, in the scripture, it speaks about the sun and the moon. Alright. Now, remember, you go back to Revelation 12, it speaks about the woman that was clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. Alright. And then it mentions about the 12 stars. Alright. Because the 12 stars, if you go into the book Genesis 37, the 11 stars represents the 11 tribes, and then the 12th tribe represents Ephraim. All right, because when it speaks about Joseph, it's really talking about Ephraim. Joseph and Ephraim are synonymous with each other. All right, now let's grab a scripture on that. All right, yeah, I'm gonna be pulling out scriptures left and right in this video, man. All right, let's see. Bear with me for 1 second, Aki. I try to type it in, it's not pulling up for me. It's in the book of, not sure. Well, I don't want to quote it, man. I'm not doing this scripture enough justice, man. But what I'm looking for, I'm gonna speak on it. You know, this whole off doctrine about you know, where it speaks about, you know, Mary, where they talk about Mary and stuff like that, man. It just goes to show you that how much of an extent that they go to just to worship Mary, man. You know, even though they'll fight with you, you know, tooth and nail about, you know, them, you know, whenever you come at them about, you know, worshiping Mary, you know, they make all types of excuses about it. But, you know, the bottom line is that, you know, it's just the reincarnation of that same Queen of Heaven worship, you know. Like I said before, man, it's just that paganism that's been mixed into the Roman Catholic Church. See, that's why in the previous video that I made, I mentioned that, you know, really that goes back to Semiramis, that Queen of Heaven worship. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to find it. Okay, here it is. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Yeah. There's Numbers chapter 1, verse 31. It says, those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Zebulun, were 57,400. Of the children of Joseph, namely, all right, or in other words, of the children of Ephraim, by their generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old upward, all that were able to go to war. So whenever you see Joseph, that's talking about Ephraim. All right, because it says of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by their generations. All right. Now there's another precept that backs that up. Let's see if we can get that. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and we all know this chapter, or this book, should I say. This is chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau a stubble." All right, so what's that talking about? The house of Jacob shall be a fire. It's talking about the southern kingdom. All right, in the house of Joseph a flame. Well, once again, we read back in the book of Numbers, where it speaks about Joseph, namely being called Ephraim. All right, once again, that represents the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. In other words, they come together, because there's another scripture in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, where it speaks about the two sticks, to where one stick was written with Judah, and another stick was written with Israel, and he bound the two sticks together. That represents the two kingdoms coming together. So the two kingdoms are going to come together, and actually you see that right now. All right, the northern kingdom tribes are waking up, along with the southern kingdom tribes, and they all come together with one accord. Okay, now let's go back to the book of Revelation chapter 12. It says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." So we know what the scripture is talking about when it speaks about the woman being clothed with the sun and the moon, and with the crown of 12 stars. All right. Now verse 2, it said, "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered." See, this is why these guys say that, the scripture is talking about, oh, well, this scripture is talking about Mary, how she gave birth to the Lord. That's not what it's talking about. All right. Now if you go on, it says, "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head." All right. This dragon is talking about Esau, the so-called white man, which this goes all the way back to the Greeks and the Romans, specifically the Romans. All right. But all in all, is Esau. No matter how many times they change their names, it's still the same devil. All right. It says, "And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born." All right. Now this is during the time of Herod. All right. Now when the Lord was born, Herod heard of the Lord Yahushua, whom the word initially called Jesus, and planned to have him killed, because he knew that this is going to be the one to be the king over the Jews, or like it says in the scriptures. All right. So Herod, to not have that happen, he put out a sentence to have all the firstborn to be killed. All right. Or should I say all the child, or all the children that were, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember exactly how it was said, but Herod pretty much put out a sentence to have all the infants to be killed. All right. Now verse 5, it says, "And she brought forth the man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and our child was caught up unto the Most High, into his throne." All right. And so that's when Yahushua received his glory, and it was received unto the Most High Yahweh. All right. So that's why it says, "And who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and the child was caught up unto the Most High, into his throne." Verse 6, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." All right. So that's during the time of the siege, right, in 70 AD, when the Israelites fled out of that land, and from that point in time, some went westward, some went north, some went east. All right. But all in all, it really leads up to the time to where we were going to be here in America, right? And we're gonna remain here until Yahushua returns. Okay. So with that, that pretty much ends the video. I just wanted to get this section where it speaks about the woman, and just to show you that this woman here is talking about Israel, the nation of Israel. All right, it's not talking about Mary. All right. So those of you that are still in that madness, get that out of your head, because that's not what it's talking about. All right. Because if it was talking about Mary, then give me an event, right, or a point in time to where Mary actually fled into the wilderness, and she was fed somewhere for 1,203 score days. Give me some sort of information in the scriptures that says that. All right. See, that's why these guys are bugged out, man. Okay. And Lord willing, you Akim will edify with this video. And until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that continually rule very well. And peace and safety to the hopeful elect that's continually giving all diligence to make your call and election sure. This goes out to you members of the hopeful elect. And till next time, I'm going to say Shalom.